Jay here for Stretford Paddock. Brighton 0, Manchester United 3. United making pretty easy work of it in the Carabao Cup through to the next round.
Eventually.
Joining me, I was going to say as always, but joining me tonight is Alex Baggers. Baggers, it's all right, that wasn't it?
It was okay. It wasn't. The first half was nothing to shout about.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. But, yeah, that's what you want in these kind of games. We've made 10 changes, which everyone was going mad at the start of the game. How we're going to get beat. Don't think Mr. Howson was very confident on us getting beat by the messages I saw before the games. You just think, oh, that's it, it's done, we're out. But good performance in the end from the lads, play well.
The goal scorers, obviously, McTominay, Mata and Paul Labille. Pogba with a free kick. Yeah, or is it? Yeah, some may say it's an own goal. I think he's been credited with it.
Yeah.
Start with McTominay's header. How did you think Scott McTominay played this game? Because he's gone from being someone who was sort of a first team and a regular last season to being someone now, if everyone's fit, probably doesn't start. Hence the reason he was in the team tonight.
I think it's a good thing. I think we need to be better than Scott McTominay in terms of where we need to be. I think we need better players in there. But I still think that Fred and McTominay, as if we are going to play a 2 in midfield there, works very well. I think they complement each other well. I think they press well together. I think they kind of, by the fact that they're both not quite as good defensively and both not quite as good going forward, I think those two together kind of work.
You need so you need the double with them.
You need the double. I don't think either. I don't think
stick Pogba and Fernandes in front of them.
No, I don't think either. Neither of them can do the Matic role.
Yeah.
But I think when they're together, I think they showed that last season in a lot of big games. They're a good stable base for the team. I think today, I think they did well.
Funnily enough, we ran a poll just before full time over on that there Twitter. Who's been your man of the match tonight? This is as close as I've ever seen these polls. So the options were Bailly, Mata, McTominay or other. McTominay got 1.9%. Okay, maybe we shouldn't give him an option.
No, maybe not.
In hindsight. Mata got 47.7%. And Eric Bailly got 48%.
Has Adam McCall been retweeting things again? Is that what it is? It's got to be. It's got to be all his fans.
If Martial was in there, then he would have won once Mackie gets his hands on it. So very close there. I'll get to Mata in a minute, and obviously he scored and was involved. But what did you make of Eric Bailly? Because there's an argument to be made that when he's fit, he should start.
I think he has to start the weekend now. I think his 2 performances, yes, against Luton and a rotated Brighton team. I think he's shown more than what Victor Lindelof can do. I think there was moments tonight where Lindelof was shaky. I don't think it was a bad performance. I mean, clean sheet, you can't really knock it. But I think that moments where he was shaky, where there was a couple of touches on the ball, a couple of things went wrong. I think Eric Bailly offers what we've been crying out for in defence. I think it's the reason why we wanted players like Upamecano and things like that. He's got the pace. He's got the fact that he can cover in for the lack of pace in the back four, especially when we've got Luke Shaw on that left-hand side and Harry Maguire in there. I think he has to start the weekend against Tottenham. I don't think there's any way Lindelof keeps his place, because I think he's been shaky in every game he's played.
Do you think there's a question mark, though, maybe about how frequently he can play? Because, all right, what are we on here now? What day is it? Where am I? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So he's got like 4 days. Is it 3 or 4 days to recover? Is that long enough, do you think? Or do you think that
I think he should
at this level he should be all right? It's not it's 2 days away or whatever.
He should be all right. And I think there's obviously the question marks over his fitness and whether he can keep his knees together, kind of thing, because they seem to go.
Keep your legs together, sweetheart.
There we go.
Get involved in the comments as well. Let us know. Do you agree? Do you think that Eric Bailly was man of the match? Do you think he should start against Spurs? Obviously, tough game. Yep. What did you make of Juan Mata, who was very close to that man of the match performance as well? Don't forget to hit like as well. Hit that like button. I'm just going to have a look at some of the comments. People talking about. Someone said Lank says Bailly's our best defender easily. Dalot was average. Someone else on Diogo Dalot. I wanted to ask you about that. Dalot was average. Don't see why he's rated. What did you think of Diogo Dalot? Because before the match, we ran a poll and we were asking, is this a case of him proving himself, or is this just Ollie putting him in the shop window before the transfer window shuts? He's been the forgotten man, hasn't he? He's been the forgotten man, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently. What did you make of him tonight? I
think he was okay. Don't think there's anything to shout about. I think he just did the job. I don't think he offers enough defensively for Manchester United. I think when we want to play with the midfield of Pogba and Fernandes, or even Pogba and Van der Beek, where we want to push up and they're not the ones covering in, I think you need to have the solidity that Wan-Bissaka offers. Now, he was a bit shaky at the weekend, but I think Wan-Bissaka defensively is head and shoulders above Dalot, and I think that we need to have him in the team. And I don't think that you get enough out of Dalot going forward that means that he should be starting as a right back. And I just think that as cover, I think Brandon Williams can cover on that side. I think Fosu Mensah can cover. I think that if we can get rid of Delo, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I'd like to see him go out on loan and maybe see how he does and then maybe assess things in 12, 18 months' time.
Maybe. I think
with a different centre-half partnership, maybe if we're a bit more solid there, then maybe you could look at playing someone a little bit more attacking. But I don't think he does enough going forward. So I think that kind of proved it tonight. He got into some good areas, but he didn't go, wow, look at that cross he's put in. He didn't put anything on a plate for anyone. He didn't do anything special. I think that's just what he is. I think he's slightly better going forward than Wan-Bissaka, maybe a lot better, but not enough to warrant the defensive frailties he has.
You mentioned Juan Mata. He came a close second in our poll.
I don't know why he's not
got his goal again. Winner. Yeah, he did well. Seemed to be involved in a lot of the good play going forward as well. And we know him, Matt. He's like the most lovable player I think I've ever met for Manchester United or ever seen for Manchester United. But it's just a question of can you rely on him in the sort of the Premier League games or whatever. But Carabao Cup, he did a job here, and he did it tonight.
He looked mint tonight. I mean, they're showing the replay there.
That ball from McTominay's goal was perfect, wasn't it? And we said it in our thumbnail. Matter is mint, and he was, wasn't he?
He's absolutely ran the show tonight and created chances all the way through, and he got his goal and just showed a little bit of composure with the goal that I think a lot of our midfielders and attackers don't show. Just by that little bit of a pause, just passing it in. I don't think we've got too many players that have got that. And we're lacking experienced players that have done it and won things in the squad completely. And I think that if he can still put performances like that in the League Cup, maybe he'll play a couple of Champions League games, maybe he'll play the FA Cup when it comes around. I think he's a massive, massive attribute to the squad. I think he's mint.
I think he's the sort of player you want with that experience, still does a job at a certain level. He's good to have around as well. I don't think you need to get rid of all the fringe players. And I think certain ones of them, especially with his experience and his quality on the ball, is definitely worth keeping around. Talking about quality on the ball, Paul Pogba with the greatest free kick I've ever seen.
It wasn't until they showed the replay.
Listen, your job when you take a free kick is to score it.
Yeah.
He did it. I mean, I don't think Paul Pogba's going to be exactly doing cartwheels when he gets home because he scored a free kick in the Carabao Cup, but it's good for him to get a goal in it, and it's good for him to sort of have a positive sort of end to the game, where in the first two games of the Premier League he's been subbed and he's been a little bit sort of off the pace, understandably, because we know he's had illnesses, but he seemed full of smiles today, and it's just a sort of ends the game on a happy note for him, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think he looked a little bit sharper today, and it was only half an hour he came on for, 20 minutes he came on for, but he looked a little bit sharper today, a little bit closer to the Pogba we know. He didn't give the ball away as much. It was only for half an hour that he came on, and the game was almost, I wouldn't say dead, but it was nearly dead when he, especially when the second goal came. When they scored the second goal just after he came on, the game was kind of dead and they were just passing it about. But he looked sharp, he looked full of confidence, and look, we need that because Paul Pogba is still our best player. There's no argument about that Paul Pogba is still a better footballer than Bruno Fernandes, and he is still our best footballer. And you have to, if you can get him firing, he's what's going to get us closer to, further up the league.
Have we got any stats, by the way, to just go through a few stats? Do you think then, here we go, actually. See the stats there that are just coming up. So the main one that matters, obviously, is Brighton 0, United 3. Yep. Total shots, 10 from each team.
Yep.
But the big difference, Brighton only having 2 on target. They didn't hit the post 5 times today, did they? United having 6. Possession, 50-50. Pass accuracy, Brighton slightly more accurate with their passes. Clear chances. This tells its own story. United 4, Brighton none, and corners 2 each, and Brighton were caught offside twice. I mean, you can see there, United have created, obviously, enough chances that you think you create 4 clear chances and your opposition can create none, then you'd expect to win the game. And that's what you've seen tonight, haven't you?
Yeah, in the first half, I think that we dominated without doing anything special. Brighton had nothing. Second half, they came out and Brighton looked pretty good for the first 10 minutes of the second half, but again, didn't really create any clear chances. They had the one header the one shot that Henderson had pulled off an unbelievable save for. But apart from that, they didn't really create much tonight, which against a rotated Brighton side, there shouldn't be a problem with that. We shouldn't be letting them into a game like this.
Do you think this gives everyone a little bit of a lift? Because I don't necessarily a lift, but I think with games like this, if you lose this game, people already, we know how it can get, and people can just sort of lose their minds over anything. But people can already start questioning Ollie, can't they? Going, oh, well, you've lost 2 of your first 4 games, despite the fact it's obviously Carabao Cup. But you're going into the Spurs game, you think, all right, we've just won what was it, 3 on the bounce since the opening day defeat against Crystal Palace. I mean, all the performances haven't been great, but tonight they're a lot better. And, I don't know, maybe
well,
it just gives you that little bit of momentum.
Those last 3 games, it's weird. We had the Luton game, which obviously we should always beat Luton. There's no...
Yeah.
And then the Brighton game at the weekend where everyone said we didn't deserve to win, and then we scraped by it. And then tonight everyone's going, well, it's only the Carabao Cup, and they've rested players and so on. So, but again, if we lose those, if we go loss, draw, and then don't play tonight, or we get through Luton and then we lose the next 2 games, everyone's going Ollie out, everyone's going out, So we're kind of stuck in with these games where you're not allowed to celebrate because we should win them. But then if we lose, it's the worst thing in the world. I don't know. I think they did a job tonight. Rested, 10 changes into that team.
How important is that? I wanted to ask you a little bit about that because obviously Bruno Fernandes not in the squad. I think it might be the first time since we signed him that he wasn't involved at all. I might be wrong about that. Harry Maguire, of course, again, who's just like, he
he's played
constant, isn't he?
I think that's the first time he's not been...
Desmond Sanchez is absolutely certain to be in the United team.
That's the first time he's not started since he joined United.
That's crazy, that, isn't it?
Which is
over a year ridiculous. Or whatever it's been. But it's good, wasn't it, that we could rest players that look like they needed rest and still get a comfortable win.
Yeah, me and Joe did the preview and kind of we had opposite teams. I went for a rotated squad similar to what played tonight. Joe went for full strength, and you could see the benefit of both because there's players that looked like they were missing match fitness and needed minutes. But then, like I said, there's players like Bruno, there's players like maybe Pogba that needed a rest and maybe needed an hour off, needed 90 minutes off, and hopefully they come into Sunday flying. And hopefully that now is the end of our little pre-season. It's not pre-season, but it kind of feels like it is, and it feels like the season now starts on Sunday. We can't have any excuses now. There's players that had rest, they've had enough minutes under the belt. Should all be okay now?
Should all be okay? There's a bit of positivity. Just before we wrap up, I'm just going to get in some of the comments. Sid W.S. Andrew Afenuni, forgive me if I pronounced that completely wrong, says, huge lift, nice clean sheet. You got a wonderful goal by Pog. Van der Beek did great. Matt was man of the match for me. This was a much needed boost for us, and we ready to thrash Spurs. So he's all feeling positive. Ross Murphy, who's always on the channel, it was great to hear from Ross, says, Dan James had a poor game again today, but he didn't get much supplied to him.
I don't think he had a poor game. I don't think it was too bad, but again, he does struggle to get into these. Sometimes he struggles to get into games. He's not that kind of player that's going to drop deep and create things if he's not getting the supply. So I think he made a couple of good runs in the first half. What chance was it in the first half? The Igalo chance in the first half. Dan James makes the space for Mata to run into. So there's little things like that. I think that's where Ollie kind of likes. I think Ollie likes his off-the-ball work just as much as he does, probably more than what he does on the ball. And I think that, I don't know, I think he's getting a bit too much criticism. But look, like you said, tonight he's played an hour to 70 minutes. We've managed to still win the game. He's not that bad.
Fred getting a bit of criticism. People saying the passing is just poor. Fred and Montgomery can't seem to pass the ball forward accurately. I mean, I don't think
it was that bad. I didn't think it was standoutishly bad tonight that they were passing it forward badly. I just think that there's obviously a drop off when you don't have Bruno, Pogba, and even Van der Beek in that midfield getting the ball and playing it forward. I think there's quality there that McTominay and Fred don't have, but I think together as a defensive unit, as kind of that, I think they're okay. I think they're okay in a good rotation.
Just one final thing as well. Dean Henderson started again, another clean sheet. Can't be bad. It's like Romero, isn't it? Gets clean sheets when he plays. It's a good start for him.
But he's pulled.
Mac has just shouted off camera, if I see Dean Henderson start a game before 8x8 in the Premier League, I'm going to go mad. Okay, that's verbatim what he said. So.
Now, the Romero thing is he had a lot of clean sheets where he kind of did nothing because it was against nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
Henderson's come into played these 2 games and pulled off 2 worldy saves in both of them games. There's something to be said that I think that there was some reports this week that he's pushing De Gea for that number 1 spot, and I don't think he's that far away. I think there's
De Gea's done okay, hasn't he?
He's done okay
this season. There was question marks last season. This season's done all right. I don't think he's going to get dropped. So to be honest,
I don't think he's going to get dropped, but I don't think there's a big drop off now. If Dean Henderson starts in the Premier League now, I don't think there's a massive drop off for Manchester United.
There you have it. There's not a massive drop off if Dean Henderson starts. Will Eric Bailly starts or will...
Should do.
Adam McCullough lose his mind if that doesn't happen. Guys, we're going to have the fan cams. We're going to have the reasons we beat Brighton. Everything's going to be coming up. I've just seen a picture there of Juan Mata getting man of the match. So he's had a good night, and we've had a good night watching Manchester United beat the mighty Brighton 3-0. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe. That's been Alex Baggers. I've been Jay. This has been Stretford Paddock. Thanks for watching.